Kansas City does have a lot of companies headquartered in its metropolitan area, like Hallmark Cards, AMC Theaters, and H&R Block, the company known for preparing income taxes. But the city still has a long way to go in convincing Americans, especially those on either coast, that it's becoming a real player in the technology game. One KC company hoping to foster that change is Think Big Partners, which runs an incubator, startup accelerator, and mentor-based collaborative network primarily focused on technology. I spoke with co-founder Tyler Prochnow and began by asking him what's happening in Kansas City.
There's a lot going on in Kansas City. There's been a huge development over the last 3 or 4 years, spurred by the city and its commitment to entrepreneurship. It's made it one of the big 5 initiatives. Google Fiber coming in, first in the nation, fiber network, has really spurred a lot of creativity and a lot of development here and a lot of interest from around the country. So we've seen people moving here from both coasts.
What does Think Big Partners do for startups?
We help people build companies, plain and simple. When we started our first companies as entrepreneurs, there were things that we wanted that we couldn't find. But it was more kind of creating an environment and a community that allowed people to get together to talk about their best practices or their worst fears in starting a company. We have a traditional accelerator in some ways in that we bring in 6 to 8 companies for a period of time. We give them a little bit of seed capital to help them grow. But when we saw in the traditional accelerator model of a 90-day and then a demo day to kind of build a product, my own personal, when I left the practice of law to start my first business, I knew if you had given me money at 90 days, I would have been extremely dangerous. I didn't know what I was doing. What we thought was more viable for these companies was to help them not just build a product or a service, but to build a business. And it's pretty difficult to build all the elements that you need for a successful business in a 90-day period. So we've extended our time frame. It's more of a 6 to 9 month program.
Have you shifted now more to tech?
We have shifted to tech, not really, again, because of any grand plan of ours. It is the nature of what we found. The city's commitment to all things tech has created an environment where there's more growth opportunities for tech. And then the background that we have, the great entrepreneurs, success stories in Kansas City of Sprint and Cerner and Garmin and others who've inspired a generation of people who worked in those companies to now go out on their own.
Any success stories from your startups?
We've been very fortunate and very blessed over the last 2.5 years to work with some incredible companies. Planet Reuse, one of the Wall Street Journal Startup of the Year candidates, have done incredible things in the furniture, reclaimed housing building products. CandyCam, which is a company that has built a mobile camera platform like the aerial cams that they use at the Super Bowl.
Over and over in Silicon Valley, I'll hear that you've got to be unafraid to fail and take risk. Does conservative Kansas City have that attitude?
Again, I think it's an attitude that's changing. Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we struggle with here, like a lot of cities do, but it's human nature. People are taught from a very early age that failure is bad. We live by the adage here at Think Big that it's only a mistake or it's only a failure if you don't learn from it. And we talk to people about that all the time. I've failed at ventures in the past. My partners have failed at ventures in the past. But we learned so much from them, and we were able to take them and either sell them to somebody who maybe could do something better with them or pivot those businesses into something that we found our market wanted.
Does Kansas City have a more conservative attitude toward investing on tech?
Absolutely. It has a more conservative attitude. You know, it's changing. It's getting better. People are starting to become more comfortable with it. They've seen the opportunities that exist in Silicon Valley and in Boston and other places. You know, I'd like to be a part of that, but I don't know that I want to go to those communities. I don't know the people. I don't know the players. Now they're starting to look in their backyard and say, oh, you know what? Now that we've paid attention, there are things going on here. There is a viable tech community, and there's something that is worthwhile for me taking a look at from an investment standpoint. And you're already starting to see people who have reaped the benefits of those. We've had some fairly successful exits, both here at Think Big and companies outside of Think Big that have had successful exits and stayed here in Kansas City, and that money stayed. And so those people are the ones who are leading the charge of putting those resources back into the tech community.